is not all because of you, Dak Prescott. It's because of your weapon.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
What's up, CFO gang? It's your boy J Tuck, real Cowboys fan. Stand up, man. And I know that yesterday y'all like that banger I dropped with the OG Law Nation, but I told y'all, Cowboys Nation, and when I tell y'all something, I'm going to be a man of my word and keep my promise. So we got another banger for y'all today. Now, this fella right here, bro, he don't need no introduction either, but damn it, I'm going to give him one. This is my brother, man. We came in the 2020 class together as content creators, man. We're like Dak and Zeke. Kind of took things by storm on the YouTube. Didn't really know what we was doing, but to see where we are right now, man, it's definitely a special thing, man. This is one of my brothers who I talk to pretty much every damn day, man. I talk to him every day, and I'm my other brother who will be on tomorrow as well. But I had to bring him on, man, because he's a pillar of Cowboys Nation. He's a leader of Cowboys Nation. He's always standing on the front line, banging for y'all. So you definitely got to show my brother some love. CFT in the building. What's going on with you, bro?
What's good with you, bro? I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling.
Chilling, man.
Get ready. I can't wait for camp, man. I'm locked in.
And that's the crazy thing, right? Because we got the college football dropping on Monday, which I'm definitely going to be partaking in that. It just feel like football season's already here. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm already in football go mode. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like it's just early this year because the way this offseason has gone, bro, it's been a lot of just, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
we can't win for losing, man.
we can't win for losing, bro. So any little glimpse of real football we can get back to has me excited, man. I was so happy when we had them voluntary and mandatory camps. Just get a little glimpse of real football that we can talk about. So we're gearing up for camp, but we're also going to have some college football, man. But speaking of this all season, man, I asked Law this. I got to get your take on this. How are you feeling compared to this year versus how you felt this time last year when it comes to the Cowboys season and its overall roster and expectations?
It's so weird because last year I was just kind of bravado confident. I knew what we had. It was a lot of the same returning, and I just felt like things broke wrong for us the year before. I felt like we were more prepared, getting back Steele. Gallup was coming back. I was like, okay, kind of similar to how we getting back Trayvon Diggs and Overshown. But the difference between this year and last year seemed like the team felt like me. They felt like, we left something and we just coming back to get it. Mm-hmm. You know, there's a little bit too much confidence. Mm-hmm. This year, I feel like it's more of a chip on the shoulder because of it's like, Cowboys Nation is more so, it's like a swinging pendulum. Mm-hmm. It's all or nothing. So last year, the pendulum was swung fully positivity. There was not much negativity. We was like pretty much hitting on. We had just drafted Mozzie Smith, which felt like, we filling holes with the proper draft picks. Everything just felt right.
Right.
This year, everyone's out. Like if you can think it's negative, people gonna roll with it. So I feel like there's doubt with Dak, of course. That's more so par for the course. But now there's doubt with Micah, and that's different. There's doubt with CD. There's doubt with McCarthy, which is fairly normal. But then there's like, it's weird. I've even heard people saying, I think Zach a little washed up. I'm like, wow.
Right.
Zach Martin washed up? Like, so the doubt birds is floating around the organization in a different way. And I'm curious to see how the team responds because, we don't like nice things, Tuck. And whenever we get too full of ourselves, i.e. the Packers game, sorry to bring it up, mm-hmm. we get humbled. But right now, it's kind of like the expectations is so low. People they think that this team just like completely fell off. And I don't see it that way. I think we have still got a really, really good solid team. We let our depth walk. And we're expecting for our younger players to fill that depth void, and we will see. But we ain't that bad of a team, so I'm not worried about the actual talent. I'm more so worried about the psyche of the team. Mm-hmm. And I am curious that first 4-week span is going to show me a lot about the merit of who's walking out on that field. We're going to see real soon.
Yeah, man, and we're definitely gonna see, because this schedule is gonna be unkind. You know what I'm saying? I know a lot of people say it's the Cleveland Browns. Listen, y'all, the Cleveland Browns is no slouch. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got some dogs out there now. Hopefully, Mari Cooper will hold down. You know what I'm saying? Do us a little favor, but it's just like we have a tough schedule out the gate. I know a lot of people are sleeping on the home opener at the Saints, so we will have to come out and show and prove, which I like. But if you go back to last year, right? We lost versus San Fran. I was out there in San Francisco. It felt like, man, if Diggs would have just made that tackle, or man, if Pollard didn't get hurt, or man, if CD would have, we felt like we should have won that game versus San Francisco, right? So then we brought everyone back. Then we added on Cooks, we added on Gilmore, added on the draft class, which was decent, right? But we felt like we was in a good place. This year, bro, I felt like the spirit of the fan base, everything has just been broken. Where we just don't know what the hell happened still to this day, and we don't know.
There's a lot of soul searching. There's a lot of soul searching this offseason for not the fans, but how like last year, like you said, last year, if 1, 2 things broke right, break different, we good,
right?
Like everyone feels like that. Like Micah and them, like we held San Fran down for the most part,
right?
This year, every player on that field, literally had to look in the mirror and be like, yo, am I nice?
Right.
Like you got to double check with yourself, even though you might know you good, because no one played up to par in that game.
Right.
Except for Jake Ferguson.
Jake Ferguson, Jake Ferguson and Michael Gallup was the only one to pull on their cleats versus Green Bay. I actually cut up a YouTube short the other day of Jake Ferguson. Jake Ferguson was going crazy versus Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? But he was the only one that showed up. So it's like, how do you build off of that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you build? Do you just throw the game in the trash and kind of just move forward? But that's now going to be back in your mind. That's what I'm worried about with this year's team. Is like, even if you have a good regular season, it's just like, man, you remember what happened last year. So I think a lot of Cowboys fans are trying to simulate to playoffs to see, are we really who we think we are? Go ahead.
I want to ask you this. Don't you think, like, as far as you can remember, because you're probably a bigger fan than me, and that's hard. As far as you can remember back, when the last time we had a season, we've had failure seasons, like when we go 8-8 and miss the playoffs or stuff like that. But when's the last time we had a season where I felt like this in the offseason? Like a genuine, this ain't Rudy, so I'm not trying to say, but a genuine underdog story as far as like where the feelings can feel valid. We can really walk into the season feeling like, oh, y'all don't believe in us. Like, it's the first time I can remember where the Cowboys can, like, not a manufactured feeling, not me saying the world against us, but, like, literally the fans don't even believe right now. It's like apathy running through the fandom.
Right.
So it's different. I ain't never remember this type of feeling. So
yeah,
I am curious to see how they're gonna respond.
Yeah, and it's different, right? Because typically when that happens, right, there's a big injury. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Sean Lee went down, you're like, all right, bro. Or Romo went down, you're like, all right, well, this season we're screwed. But now it's like, as of right now, knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? We are fully healthy. But I don't really see a lot of people who is buying into this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me, like, I am saying selfishly, I'm going to keep it on. Like, I ain't bought in, right? And I feel like it's because we don't know if we fixed the problem. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know if there is being cured. So we're going to have to actually show improvement. I feel like this is.
I don't even think beating the Browns is going to work, though.
Oh, no. Beating the Browns, like, you're going to have to beat Baltimore, then beat Cincinnati, and then beat San Francisco. Like, you're going to have to be some real killers. Like, splitting with Philly is not going to do it, right? So you're going to have to actually go out there and earn the trust of the fan base, which it's okay to do. There's teams around the NFL that have to do that every year, right? And I feel like sometimes, like you said, maybe with these players, bro, we give them too much. You know what I'm saying? As soon as they get drafted by the Cowboys, put a star on their helmet, we start buying jerseys, saying they the one. You know what I'm saying? Let them actually go out there and earn it. And I think that's going to translate with the culture. But there's still a lot of dark clouds, a lot of question marks with our coaching staff and contracts and different things that we'll definitely have to focus on. Now, speaking of contracts, hot topic button, Dak Prescott at his camp says, listen, they've been having some conversations. But he said something that really stuck out to me, Rome. He says, when I get to camp and when we get this season, I shift my focus on to how I can help the team. That's what I've been trying to warn Cowboys fans about. When we get out to the end of Oxnard at the end of July, Dak Prescott might say, hey, we at camp, I'm done. So as far as his contract negotiation when it comes to Dak, Do you think the deal gets done? And then I'm gonna put you on the spot. When does the deal get done?
I think the deal gets done.
Okay.
Mainly because of this, and this is just me being real. Our owners are fake. They bluffers. They don't got nuts. For lack of better, they just don't. Like, our owners bluff a lot.
Mm-hmm.
They say they steadfast and they're not gonna do this, they're not gonna do that. They gonna fold because Stephen Jones at the end of the day is about financial fiscal responsibility. Mm-hmm. And as much as he wants to win, he's gonna be like, listen, Dak gonna keep people in them seats, even though he's really, really hated. He's gonna have our product viable. And Stephen Jones is like, listen, if a quarterback ages out and we draft the wrong person, that's explainable to our shareholders or whoever. That's explainable to people that invest in the team, like season ticket holders, i.e. you. You know, right. We can say, hey, listen, we just made the wrong draft pick, but we're doing some things. If you move on from Dak purposefully right before he hits his prime and he hits a stride over the next 4 years where you're like, whoa, it really unlocked for him. Mm-hmm. It really, that last Green Bay game slowed something down for him. He just seeing it different. Because traumatic situations can have you either get really great or really bad. You just don't know.
Right.
And I don't feel like Stephen Jones or Jerry Jones got the cojones to bet against the what if. They just don't. Like other teams do. Other teams will be like, yo, we pushing the chips. We moving on from Russell Wilson.
Right.
You know, we pushing the chips. We trading Trey Lance. We pushing the chips. We moving Carson Wentz. The Cowboys is like, I mean, Dak gonna get us 12. Like, I don't know. He might get us 10, 11, 12. Like, and as easy as that sounds, it ain't that easy. And they're just like, I know them. They don't have it. Now, when will it get done? I think it gets done this. I think Dak said a couple months ago, he's definitive. Dak sometimes be accidentally saying too much.
Right.
A couple months ago, he said, there's no talks. He slipped up today and said, you know, they've been talking a little bit. Now, my thing is this: who started the talks though? Mm-hmm. And if I know how this works, Dak Prescott and Todd France have seemed so confident in years. Like their actions have just showed you come to the table correctly or don't come at all.
Right.
So that means that somebody from the star, I don't know if it was Stephen Jones, somebody reached out. Someone opened the door. Because I think that this is all connected, if you don't mind me going to it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that they realized, hey, man, I don't think CeeDee Lamb is super excited about turning his career over to unknown. And this ain't a slight to Trey Lance or anybody. It's just, I've been an all-pro the last 2 years. And worst case scenario, y'all can say what y'all want about Dak Prescott, but him and me are a great marriage, and it's great for my career. Mm-hmm. I don't want to go from 1,700 yards to 1,100 yards, which would be media-wise, it'd be looked at as a fall-off because the next quarterback is working through some things. Mm-hmm. And then the 3-4 years when he really hit his stride, now I'm 29.
Right.
You know, some people always make that dumb decision where they think they got it all figured out. You chasing the bread and you look up, because everybody don't do stuff like go from Kirk Cousins to Josh Allen to CJ Stroud. That only happens to Stephon Diggs.
Right.
Sometimes you want your bread so bad you end up somewhere and then the other stuff doesn't start working out. Or maybe you move on from Dak Prescott and now Trey Lance is just trying to figure it out, to use him as an example. And you're like, man, I got 5 touchdowns this year.
Right.
I got 1050. And people are like, what happened to CeeDee Lamb? Because they're not going to correlate the two. Right. So CeeDee Lamb, I think his agent is like, so what's up with Dak? Yeah. We going to sign, but that's a big thing. I feel like it's a domino effect. You sign Dak Prescott. And the irony is you open up some money to get CeeDee Lamb under the contract. And I think people say, well, how do you get Micah? Just to wrap it all and do a nice little bow for you. You get Micah because next year, I think 2 people coming off the books that will open up the money for Micah outside of the cap going up. I think Zach and Law going up next year.
Right.
That money is going to be just enough. Now, it's still going to be a lot of money on 3 players.
Right.
But it is possible.
It's possible, man. But here is where I get concerned, right? Because you mentioned, a lot, and you mentioned the key word, Trey. As of right now, because Jane Slater reported this, that they're sitting back and he said, oh, well, they're probably going to wait till August. What I feel like, and I'm putting my Stephen Jones and Jerry Jones petty hat on, they want to get out to Oxnard and really see if they got something, because as of right now, they don't know. And if they get out to Oxnard and they can put Trey on display and he makes some good throws and the crowd is clapping and, you kind of just check the temperament, they might say, all right, we got in our emergency plan, But if he get down there and he's thinking up the place, and they might get Todd France back on the phone and say, all right, bro, we done playing games.
But Todd France, them ain't stupid. They know the play.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So, but I feel like if you get out there and they're playing games with Dak might say, you know what, we're going to shut it down. We're going to compete. I'm going to go out there, do my thing. Because Dak has no reserve about betting on himself. Like, he's done it before. I can see him doing it again. Because now he's
Dak ready to leave if he needs to.
That's what I'm saying. So he's able to play on this 1 year deal, get his 60 mil, get his 40 next year, and say, okay, we'll figure it out next year. Versus the Cowboys, they really need to find a solution. But I don't think they want to pull the trigger until they really see what happens with Trey. But
I think they got a little bit of look. The reason why them talks started now, a little jab, like to check the temperament. They got to slightly look. The Cowboys would have loved nothing more than for OTAs, for rookie mini camp, for Trey Lance to be out there spinning that thing for mandatory mini camp. Mm-hmm. But all of the reports of people that got to see Trey, people that they would love to, they would love to tout.
Right.
Would love nothing more. Even people at the fan would love nothing more to be like, Trey Lance looking good.
Right.
They not getting their results and they not happy. I be hearing the begrudging. He ain't processing.
He
right.
just ain't ready.
I know you mad.
He just ain't ready.
Mad and ain't there. And you wanted to be there so you could be like, hey man, Dak better get on his ish.
Right.
And it was supremely quiet about Dak's throwing and stuff. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, he completed some deep passes and stuff. I'm like, hey man, don't downplay the fact that he knows how to play football really well. Right. Because Trey ain't hitting it. Because I know Brian Broaddus. I know that the guy, I forgot the lead guy, the fan, that RJ, and I know some of them would love nothing more. Mm-hmm. Because they got people that go to those practices would love nothing more to come on because they don't even like Dak like that.
Right.
And people like, yo, Dak looking good, but all of them can't right now. And that's telling to me because I feel like Trey could have completed one really good pass and they would have been like, well, that's good enough.
Right. That's all we need. Right.
But let me say this though, Tuck, because I've been touted as the Trey Lance hater. I ain't got no hate for Trey Lance. Trey Lance is extremely young, and Trey Lance has just not played enough football.
Right.
When I really dig into Trey Lance, apparently all of his snaps with high school, college, and what he's done in the NFL combined is like maybe a season and a half for Dak in the NFL, like just attempts wise. Right. The young man just needs legitimate time. Trey Lance is fine. Like, if you
here's what I'll say about that, Rome. Everybody in his draft class also needs time, from Justin Fields to Zach Wilson to what's his name, went to New England. I didn't forget Mac Jones. Even Trevor Lawrence, who was the number 1 pick. So it's okay to say a young quarterback needs time. And I think that's what I was going to say. But here's the thing. I ain't got no time to develop. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the thing. That's why I want to sign Dak, but this is the thing when people don't want to hear. I wouldn't mind bringing Trey back. Not for $20 million.
Right.
Trey, you can be the 2 if you can prove it through camp.
Right.
But I'm not saying get rid of him and throw him away. Dak ain't getting no younger.
Right.
But if you can really train Trey up like the Packers did Aaron Rodgers, they had him for like 4 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I ain't calling him Aaron Rodgers because people be tripping.
Right.
I'm just saying like the way it can happen. You got Trey last year. You give him like 2 or 3 legitimate years to get his line right. You get his footwork right, get his reps together. And you know what? You might really have something in 2 years. And maybe this contract, maybe the rub is we'll give you your money, Dak, but you're going to give us that trade clause back or something. Maybe,
that.
I'm just saying, maybe there's something like that to where in 2 or 3 years we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
But I don't even think it would be fair to Trey Lance right now to throw, like if the Cowboys threw him out there against the Browns defense, like let's just say they moved on from Dak. Hypothetically, I know we got Dak for the year.
Right.
They would destroy that young man's confidence because I don't think he's quite ready.
Right.
And our fan base
with the rookie center and a rookie left tackle as well.
Our fan base is like cannibals, though. because they would bring up Trey Lance they'll be like, he next and all this extra stuff. Trey will go out there and look bad, and they'll be like, he just like Dak.
Right. We won't rush.
It's not even fair to him. Let him continue to do what he's doing. I think he's on his right trajectory. I feel like, first of all, I feel like they should keep Mike around, but we could do that another show.
Right.
Because I feel like it's good for everybody. I feel like, so let Trey just keep getting better and stop trying to force him out there because you want leverage.
Right.
Stephen Jones just don't want to pay sticker price, man. You want a Benz, you got to pay Benz prices. Like
you're
trying to get a Benz for accurate price.
Exactly, and that was my frustration with the trade for Trey Lance. It wasn't about bettering the team. It was about trying to use it for contract negotiations and leverage versus Dak Prescott, right? So it puts everything in a bad situation, but we'll see how it all unfolds. Now, you mentioned Micah Parsons. We won't talk about Mike. That's a whole nother show, like you said. But I want to transition. I want to.
We got time. Hey man, this is the drought. We can do that next week.
We come back. We circle back around. But yeah, I don't want to wake up them zombies, man. You know what I'm saying? Them bloodsuckers. Come on out. You mentioned Micah 3 times, right? So I'm gonna leave them people alone. But I do want to talk about his defensive coordinator in Coach Zimmer. So we know with Coach Zimmer, we brought him in, was out of football just for a little bit, been with Coach Prime, Colorado, the list goes on and on, coach under Bill Parcells. But here's my thing, Rome. I feel like from the mindset from our defense, they felt like they just had a bad game, right? But they don't feel like they're a bad defense. So this is not desperation like in 2020 where we're going for Mike Nolan. They were like, bro, whatever you got, it got to be better than this, right? So I feel like there's going to be a tug and pull when it comes to Zim and our defense and how he's going to use it. But what is your expectations on Zim? And do you think that he can really take this defense to another level? As far as his scheme is concerned, or do you think the main thing that you want from Coach Zim, and this is what I want from him personally, is just don't break it. Just don't break the defense. But what is your expectations for Coach Zimmer coming into this year, Dallas, on this 1-year deal? On a prove-it deal. You signed up a prove-it deal. You know
I think Zim can make this defense better because this isn't, hey, Zim, make these bad players good. It's, hey, Zim, can you make these good players great? And make these great players better, like, like a Micah. And the one thing I think our defense hasn't had that Zim is going to instill is discipline. Like with defensive line players, like especially when you're pass rush forward, like our defense has been, like pass rush over anything, stopping to run anything, just get to the quarterback. We used to run a lot of games, a lot of stunts, like sometimes you watch people stunt fully out of the play. Like, did you just run over 3 gaps? Like, to where there was no balance. We had our end game or whatever people want to call it, where you got law from the D tackle, and we pass rush crazy, and that started to bleed into other downs to where the discipline was kind of leaving. I feel like there was some freelancing going on in the secondary from time to time. I definitely feel like that was happening in the Green Bay game because I just don't feel like if you just do disciplinary wise, people wouldn't be that open if you was just in your spot. But it was a whole lot of hero ball happening.
Right.
I feel like Mike Zimmer is going to disrupt the hero ball. I'm paying attention to some people that are in the know, like Wanye Thomas. Shout out to Wanye Thomas. I think he's gonna have an amazing year. Just talking about the discipline that Zimmer has instilled already. I heard Mike saying that, I didn't like our walkthrough early on in OTAs and rookie minicamp. And I let them know about it. And I said, that's different. And you know what? Sometimes you need some different. I don't think he's trying to come in and change everything completely. Because I've heard players say, nah, he's not changing everything. But he is going to implement a lot of accountability. There's some times I feel like on our defense where, well, some, of course, like, lack of D tackle depth and not having real linebackers, that's just front office problems. You should have filled those holes correctly. But there were times where I feel like freelancing was encouraged, and it's kind of like Trayvon Diggs. I feel like the year before last when he had all those interceptions, he could almost do whatever he wanted. And he got burned a couple times, but he also, reaped the benefits. I feel like Trayvon Diggs came back last year and was way more disciplined because of himself, because of his training, because of, you know what I'm saying? Unfortunately, he got hurt. But it's kind of like when your talent meets discipline, you're gonna elevate. And as much as Micah wants to give off this certain media perception, I feel like if he would allow some discipline into his game, it would be amazing for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using Micah because he's our most talented defensive player.
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like Zim is going to implement, and it's just as simple as, yo, man, what was you doing right there? There's a lot of times I feel like we would make mistakes and no one would say anything. That's what I feel, because maybe it was behind the scenes, and it's not about just barking on people like they children. It's just about like, yo, let's talk. Like, yo, what was going on with that assignment?
Mm-hmm.
And it felt like even the Green Bay game, there was no like reset. Like I watched in the Super Bowl when the 49ers were moving the ball really easily. I watched Chris Jones just, hey, everybody, along, snap out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw him on the sideline. There was a player, but it was kind of like, yo, man, let's get it. Like, let's get our minds right. I watched the 49ers do that in when they were down to the Lions.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Debo and a couple of the players literally pull people on the sideline and just like, yo, what's going on?
Right.
Unfortunately, you can't always have your quarterback doing that. On your defense and parts of the offense, you need that type of a leader to pull people like by the shirt collar, like, what's up with y'all?
Right.
And I feel like Zimmer has that in him and that can trickle down. Sometimes you get led by example.
Right.
And I feel like we need that on our defense. I feel like D-Law used to do that. And I feel like D-Law has, for some reason, kind of started to defer to Micah. Kind of, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
like,
I think what the transition is that our safeties were the quote unquote vocal guys. So you had Donovan Wilson, you had J-Ron Curse, like those were the guys, right? But you still need some guys who's really been through the fire, like your DeMarcus Lawrences and those types of people to really lead you. Like you need your Stephon Gilmore, but Gilmore is more of a quiet type. So here's what I'll say, because a lot of people have this thing about Mike Zimmer and bringing discipline to this team. Mike Zimmer can bring discipline to this team. He's capable of doing it, but it's only if we're getting the true Mike Zimmer. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have it where Mike Zimmer is trying to implement discipline, but here comes downstairs. You know what I'm saying? Here he come down. Well, you know,
you know what I'm saying?
Like you can't. So
why would you bring him here?
Right.
That's the sad thing. They know him.
Right. You have to let Zim cook. Let Zim cook. That should be the hashtag. Let Zim cook. Right. So there might be a situation where you might gotta say, "Hey, Micah, you tripping? Get out of there, overshown. You getting in." And Micah might pout a little bit, or he might be frustrated. We don't need you coming downstairs, Jerry. And nope. Let Zim handle it. Right. And even from the standpoint, but here's my other concern when it comes to discipline. It's hard for a football coach to discipline when you ain't got no damn depth. Let's say, for instance, Osa out there acting a damn fool. Who else you got? Who else you got, bro? You know what I'm saying? So
that's a front office issue. That ain't even
right. And that's why a lot of people are like, well, Tuck, you keep playing in the front office. Like, yeah, because
I'm with you.
That's what I'm saying. I can't bench Osa if he keeps jumping off sides. If Osa is all I got, if Mozzie is all I got, you know what I'm saying? Like if Sam Williams is all I got, right? So I'm gonna put a large percentage on the players that you're gonna have self-discipline. But also, the ownership is going to have to let Zim be Zim. I don't want the censored version of Zim and the watered-down version of Zim. If Zim has to get off in somebody's face, you stay out of it. Stay out of it and let him let him coach this team. Because if not, if you have too many people in the kitchen, the player's going to go upstairs. You know what I'm saying? They're going to go to what's comfortable, right? And I feel like another important piece to our defense also is going to be Al Harris, because Al Harris is the one familiar coach that's been there. So they might be like, man, Coach Zim is asking me to do this. You know, I ain't trying to do this. I'm not trying to do that. And it needs to be Al Harris like, no, you need to do this because this is his defense. I know things used to work the old way, but let's try it this way. You know what I'm saying?
We need some of these new schemes. Sorry to cut you
off.
You
good?
We need some of these new schemes to flash. You need to have moments where some of this new stuff flashes.
Right.
That spark, because it's all about buy-in.
Right.
The players don't want to buy in. We cook.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of like Mike McCarthy and the new offense. That first couple of weeks was looking shaky.
Right.
But apparently, from what I heard, Brian Schottenheimer really was helping out and was calling a lot of the plays. Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't even know that. Mm-hmm. You know, he stepped in, and Mike McCarthy, him and Dak is what I understood. This is what I heard. Actually, from on Boston's show, him and Dak really took the reins and were calling a lot. Like he was still in there, but he relinquished just being like, yo, this is my show.
Right.
And my thing is this: Zim and the defensive players that have been there, to go back to the original point,
he compromised.
There has to be a marriage, and
Right.
then they'll buy in more. And I think Zim will get the results he wants. But I would hope that Mike Zimmer has been coaching. Look, he was just in Colorado, just being like shadowing and stuff like that. He's been coaching for so long. I've heard him verbally say, y'all think I'm just going to go in there snapping on everybody.
Right.
This is out of his mouth. He said, I've learned that certain players need to be coached certain ways. And I would hope that his experience, he's been coaching forever,
right,
that he can kind of tell he needs some discipline, but he needs a little bit of leeway.
Right.
But I'll tell you what, this is my marker on how much control Zim got. I told you I got a little bit of I don't want to call it a source, but somebody that you know, a little bird in my ear been letting me know that Zim don't like Dono too much. And that lets me know one thing. Dono got paid, and Dono, I feel like he's real good with the front office. This ain't a slight to Dono if he comes across this video. This is just what I've heard. I could be wrong. I'm not in the star. My point is, I'm going to see how short of a leash that some players got. I want to see what kind of pull, because I've heard that Zim like Wanye.
Yes.
If we roll out there to Cleveland and Wanye and Malik starting, it's going to tell me a lot about what control Zim got. Because, you know, Stephen Jones, like, if I'm paying him, I'm playing him.
Right. Right. And that's what me and Law spoke about, right? Performance over politics. That's the new motto. Because if you look at Zim's scheme, and I'm gonna do a video breakdown on this, he likes safeties that can move, like, because he likes to interchange. He does a lot of robbery, different stunts,
and he likes smart players.
He likes smart players, and so that's more the Wanye. Wanye can be more of a free / box safety. He can move, he can cover, he can do a lot of different things. Dono's more like a linebacker, you know what I'm saying? Like a pretty, but you really don't. I mean, I don't say
like Marquise. That's why they say Marquise might be out.
Right, because you have Marquise, you also have Israel Mukwamu, but then you also have Overshown as well, who can kind of fit that same mold. So it's like, who is really going to fit? But you have to let Zim cook it and not step in and be like, well, we paid Dono, he needs to play over Wanye. Like, no, bro, if that's who I need to run my defense efficiently, then it's going to be Wanye. It just is what it is.
And he like linebackers that can cover. Look, I've been paying attention. It's all nuanced stuff.
Right.
Like, first couple years, you see players doing certain things. This year, I watched Damone Clark go to a pass coverage camp. I forgot where it was at. That story came out recently. They said he was training. It was a full camp about coverage with like DBs. I was like, why is Damone down there? I was like, oh, because Maris Luafau came into camp.
And
he knows the whole. He knows the defense. He's smart and he's rangy and he's moving around. And I know it was minor. It was not pads, but a lot of the game is done up here. And they say,
and Maris is 1,000% up here. And it still pisses me off that I never dropped this film breakdown. I just didn't upload it. But Maris at Notre Dame, because him and JD Bertrand, like, he's high IQ, high
That's
motor.
What they love about him.
He's super intelligent, right? So then you add him and Kendricks. There's a lot of thought process up there, and IQ and data process.
So Damone probably was like,
I gotta get with it. I gotta
set my game up.
Right, because you also have Overshown as well.
Yep, it's little things like that that's like, oh, okay, maybe. Like, I feel like Zim is I know for a fact Zim has gotten a chance to talk to some of these players. You know, he's not as media. He's not gonna come out and make public comments and stuff like that. He's gonna keep it real low key. I think some of his tonnage, some of his philosophy, like some stuff, I think it's been trickled to certain players. Cause I'm watching their movement. To watch a linebacker all of a sudden put a lot of emphasis on coverage, that means he felt like that was a hole in his game, and he don't want to mess around and just be on special team.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, now, like, I'm gonna this the defensive rotation week 1 will tell me everything I need to know.
That's gonna tell us.
You know, although we still need to add some DTs, but that's
that's a whole.
I'm on that.
That's a whole, yeah, man. We get a whole bunch of DTs.
Because if they run Chauncey Golston and Junior Fuhoku out there as 3 techs, we are cooked, bro.
I know. I'm
talking about that was always the plan.
Like I said, I heard people saying that Marshawn Neely was playing defensive tackle because we just didn't have enough bodies.
I hate it.
And I'm just like, what are we doing? But once again, it starts upstairs. Now, before I let you go, bro, I'm gonna put you on the spot because you mentioned Junior Fiocco, Chauncey Ghost, some other players. Who is the one player who's off the radar that could just come out of nowhere and give our defense a spark? Now, it doesn't have to be a rookie. There's a player that not really getting a lot of credit that you think, all right, he can possibly get into this rotation and take things by storm and have like a Deron Bland type explosion next year.
I got two.
All right, go ahead.
I feel like Kalen Carlisle, I think that's his name.
Mm-hmm.
Out of Purdue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not Wake. I think I said Wake Forest before.
Yeah, Wake. You gotta wait. Kalen Carson, the
it's
quarterback.
Wake. It's not Purdue. It's Wake.
Quarterback. Yeah.
I think, and this is all like surface level research. It's not too in depth. But from what I understand, the only reason we got to him is from injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was one of those completely. He would have went higher in the draft. He probably would have been a second rounder if he ain't getting nicked up.
Mm-hmm.
His pedigree is about second rounder.
Mm-hmm.
We might have really got a steal. And I think that they want to see how he looks. This is why they ain't called Stephon Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he can really show some things in camp where they're like, he might be good with the youth movement.
Right.
I also feel like, and everybody gonna think I'm crazy, I think it's Sam time, man.
Sam Williams?
I think it's Sam time, man. I feel like I've seen Sam flash, and I feel like Sam is one of them players that just does not do well with idle time.
Mm-hmm.
And he don't do well with trying to explain that he want to get on the field and he want to put up clips of Unleash the Dog. But when I've seen him locked in, he's really athletic.
He is.
Like,
I mean,
y'all
didn't see him out there hooping and dunking the other day. You know what I'm saying? Like
watching him run, like this is all like OTA stuff. Like I don't know about the green hair. That I'll let him do his thing. He's young, but he looks great.
Mm-hmm.
No Diddy. You know what I'm saying? He just looked like an edge fully, like more than Micah.
Mm-hmm.
He got the frame. He got the speed. He looked like he got some bend. Like, I know why they liked him. But I think his biggest thing was, I ain't playing, so I don't care.
Right.
And I think if you let this young man get some genuine some genuine rotation, hey, man, you're going to play about 30 snaps a game, 40. And I think that can go up if you flash.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Sam, the snaps that Dorrance got,
right.
Sam might leave this season with 8 sacks.
Mm-hmm. I can see
that's because he had 4 last year.
Yeah, I would put, if I set the over or under at Sam at 6, I would take the over.
I would take the over. I'm not going OD. Everyone wants to say 10. That's the good round number. He gonna get 10.
I say about 7 or 8.
I can see 8, and it's just because I feel like once he feel like, oh, I'm gonna play more, I feel like it's gonna be a little switch in his brain.
Now that all depends on, is Marshawn Nealon a Zim guy or is he insurance policy for when we move on from D-Law next?
But don't you think they can rotate too?
I feel like you can keep a rotation.
Like Fowler,
right.
It's like Fowler and Dorrance were first up. I
right.
feel like Nealon and Sam can be first up, and I feel like it kind of can help. If you do it right, you want to keep D-Law fresh,
mm-hmm.
and you want to see what you got for the future. It's kind of both. Now, Nealon and Sam might be locked in on who's the actual third, who's first off the bench.
Mm-hmm.
It's up to Sam to show that, hey, man,
right.
I've been here a little bit.
Right.
Because Nealon looked like a monster.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
I need to see him in pads, but, like, just
there's
his
dogs
size.
In there. Yeah.
I can see why they think he can play 3 tech. But I'm like, don't mess up my dominant edge because you want to force him into. Don't like do something like you did with Mozzie. Hey, man, eat a couple more sandwiches.
Right.
He's not a 3 tech.
Right. Right. And slide him in. Right. Yeah. So Sam. Yeah, I can see Sam.
That's my it could be wishful thinking, but I don't think. Look, I would love to say Mozzie, bro. You know, I used to be big Mozzie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I had to come back to you in October, like, yo, Chuck, I ain't see it coming because I don't see it.
Yeah, it's just too much. Like, it's too much stacking with Mozzie, and just not enough positivity. You know what I'm saying? Like, from what I hear, he's not even close to his draft weight still. Shoulder injury.
Bring in some veterans and say, Mozzie, you will get back to normal, but this ain't on you. They got the pressure of the world on this young man. Like, it's on you.
Well, that was the Cowboys' fault last year. I mean, you take a second round guy, third round grade possibly, and give him the first round pick. You know what I'm saying? The Dallas Cowboys, biggest spot. Like, you're expecting expectation. Of course, you know what Philly did last year as well. So we want that too. We want the out the gate. We want the out the box. You know what I'm saying? We want that out the box. I'm just like, you're not gonna be out the box ready, man. You have to put him in the microwave for a little bit. So let's see how it shakes up with Mozzie. Yeah. But then you do another disservice by depleting our defensive tackle room. So he's all that we really much depending on, unless some 7th round draft picks and some undrafted guys. So it's like they're putting Mozzie in a bad situation. So we'll have to see how it all plays out. But a guy that I have penciled, Cowboys Nation, that I think that can really be that spark plug if he comes back healthy, is John Stevenson. I think John Stevens.
I thought you was talking just defense.
No. I think John Stevens could be that. What do we got? You know what I'm saying? What do we got here, right? That extra boost.
I forgot. I'm with you.
That we need for our offense. That big target that can definitely boost.
Him and Ferg.
Yeah, him and Ferg. Like, him and Ferg. I think that's awfully nasty if he comes back healthy, and then. Defensively, a guy that I think can really be a spark plug, of course, coming out the injuries, Overshown. I feel like Overshown, if he comes back and he's healthy, it just takes forgotten about. It just takes. I'm ready. Yeah, it just takes things up to a whole nother level.
They did with Overshown what I wanted them to do with with Mozzie. They got Overshown insurance. They got like, hey, you don't have to be like
right.
Maris Little, Eric Kendricks. You got a veteran. You got a rookie.
Right.
It's insulated. They didn't put the weight of the world Overshown. You have to be 1,000%.
Right.
And that's what they do in the Mozzie, unless they shut me up and get me 2 like veterans or at least a veteran.
Right.
Right now, Overshown can play 10 snaps in the first game, and we won't die because we got insulation. We got a bunch of linebackers now.
Right.
As opposed to Mozzie got to go out there and play like 50 snaps.
Yeah, you guys get about 25, 30. You know what I'm saying? And honestly, we talked about Mozzie. They did it with our other first round pick in Tyler Guyton. Like, there's no insurance policy. Like, Tyler Guyton, you have to hit at left tackle. And congratulations, you got Myles Garrett out the gate. You know what I'm saying? So, but he has to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just got to figure it out.
After dealing with Michael all camp.
Yeah, you got to deal with Michael all camp. Then you got Myles Garrett, and then you're going to have the Ravens in week 3.
He got Cam Jordan next week.
Cam Jordan. That's what I'm saying. So you got a 3-week gauntlet. You know what I'm saying, to figure it out. And if not, all you got is Chima Udoga and Matt Walesko. You know what I'm saying? Then it gets dark. So, bro, you have to work. So you're putting these young players in a bad situation, man. But we'll see how things fail out, man. My guy, Roman, appreciate you for joining us, bro. For the people who are seeing you for the first time, let everybody know they can find you, bro.
Hey, man, you can find me at Cowboys Fan Talk on YouTube, Cowboys_Fan Talk on Twitter, Cowboys Fan Talk on Instagram. Disclaimer for Twitter, it get a little ignorant. I apologize in advance, but you know.
Hey, man, it be like that when you're on the front line, man. People don't understand, man. It ain't easy being on the front line defending Cowboys Nation all the time. Sometimes you got to get your hands a little dirty. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to get your hands a little dirty, man. But I'm keeping my hands clean until the season starts, man. But we're starting to gear up, man. So, my brother, man, I appreciate you. Keep rocking. Keep being a voice for Cowboys Nation. We definitely need you out here, man. One of the good ones. And for those of y'all see me the first time, J Tuck, follow me on CFO Sports. Comment, like, subscribe, bang that notification bell. Got a lot of stuff coming up. I told y'all, new media, we are here to stay, man. Got a lot more guests, so you definitely want to tune in. Follow me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. I'm on TikTok. Now, here's the funny thing, y'all. I hate TikTok with a passion. I'm going to keep it a buck, right? But, you know, I got people telling me I need to get back on TikTok. So I'm on TikTok. So y'all know, like, when you're new, you know, you get like a new content creator. You get some people are coming in. They're like, Dak sucks. Like, we get those kinds of people. And I think they're finding out, damn, this might be the wrong account. You know what I'm saying? This might be the wrong account for all. So I'm giving people like a little grace period.
They're not
on
used
TikTok.
to us on that side, bro.
They're not used to getting dunked on yet. So I'm giving everyone a little grace period till we get to camp to get warmed up to Tuck. And after that, bro, if you get beast in the paint, you get banged.
They ain't used to this time.
Yeah, they want the, you know, Dak sucks and the I was like, all right, bro, get your takes off. But when we get to camp, bro, it's all systems to go, and y'all gonna get banged on and blocked and dunked on. You know what I'm saying? So they're not ready for no EP or no film breakdowns, none of that yet. I'm letting them get warmed up, man. So follow me on all social media platforms. Keep tuned in, turn that notification bell. We got a lot more guests, man. I want everyone to stay safe. I want everyone to stay blessed and stay encouraged. And let's go, Cowboys Nation. Peace.